are joined by the winningest active coach in the Division I ranks, Syracuse head coach Jim Boeheim. Coach, it's great to see you. Last year when we had you on set, I opened with what season it was for you. And I'm not doing it this year because you have just done a great job. I'm going to say you're the winningest coach, and we're going to keep rolling from there so you and I don't have the back and forth, but back for another year, Coach. And your guys were telling us you're just as fired up as ever.
Well, if you're not, you shouldn't be doing it. You know, you look at each season, and if you're not ready and you're not excited about it, then you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, talking to a couple of your guys earlier, they did mention that you have kind of a renewed energy right now. I don't know if you're happy that your boys are out of the program, or talk to us about that.
No, I'm just happy for this team. You know, it's interesting. Every year is different, but when you have 6, 7 new players, 6 freshmen, you know, it's a challenge to kind of get them together. But the good thing is we have 4 veterans. So we have guys that played last year, had a big impact on our team. And so it's kind of a good mixture, veterans and the young guys. The young guys have been terrific. It's a talented group. Sometimes freshmen are not ready for the jump, and you never know really until you get them. And our freshmen are ready. You know, just what they've done, you can see it in practice. They're ready to compete at a high level, and all freshmen, as we know, aren't really ready for that. But this group is, so it's exciting.
Anybody in particular that's really stood out for you early on? I know it's only been a few weeks.
It's really been the group, but I mean, everybody talks about Judah Mintz because he's, you know, coming off a great high school year, but sometimes that doesn't really apply to what you do in college, but in his case it does. He's one of the best point guards I've ever had as a freshman. And we've started 5 or 6 freshmen since I've been the coach in these 100 years at Syracuse. But he's one of the best point guards I've ever coached at this stage. And so it's exciting. We have really good size. I think getting Jesse Edwards back healthy, his progress last year in the middle of the year, his last 10 games he averaged 16 and 10. And, you know, gets hurt and misses the last 8 games. And we weren't able to overcome that. But he's improved. Joe Girard has improved. So you get your veterans playing better. That's always good. But I'm just really excited about our freshmen. I think they're going to surprise people a little bit.
Coming from you, that comment, the best ever anything. I won't reference how many seasons. I'm going to stay away from that. But that's high praise there. You know,
there's very few guards that are point guards that have the athletic ability of a 2 or 3. You know, Judah's got that athletic ability, but he also has the smarts of a point guard. He knows how to play the point. He knows how to get other people involved. And usually that athletic combination is more in a 2 or 3. But he has that athletic combination and he's a smart point guard. So it'll be interesting to watch and see the impact he has on our team and on the league.
Coach, speaking of Judah, you have Joe Girard, who can now possibly move over to the 2. But also, too, will we expect to see Judah, Girard, and Torrance at the same time? Or, I mean, is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. We're going to play more man-to-man. It's harder in the zone to play 3 guards, but in the man-to-man situations, it's a little easier. Also, Quadir Copeland is another freshman guard who's got size. He's probably surprised us the most in practice. He's had an unbelievable practice time. So we feel we've got 3 or 4 guys who handle the ball. And with Joe Girard, I think people sometimes, I don't think he gets the credit. He's been one of the better guards in the league. You know, if you look at the stats, his shooting percentages, numbers.
1,000 points plus.
You know, he's kind of been a little disrespected. I think he was good at the point guard. I think his turnovers were good, assists were good, shooting percentages were all good. I think he's more comfortable as a scorer, so he'll be at the 2 this year. I think he'll produce more points. And I think we've got other guys that really handle the ball well and make plays. So I think our backcourt is the strength of our team. We're working on our forwards. They're young. But our center, obviously, with Jesse and a couple of young 7-footers, center position strong. But certainly, I think Joe will show people how comfortable he is at the 2, where he just can really think about putting the ball in the basket.
He did light up when I asked him about not having to share shots with the Boeheims anymore.
Well, you know, when you're the point guard, Joe shot 41% from the 3, but he averaged 12 points a game because his job was to get the ball to other guys. We were one of the better offensive teams in the country last year. Our defense beat us, and losing Jesse certainly, but our defense beat us, and that's the one goal we have this year, to be a better defensive team. We've always been a good defensive team, and last year I think was an outlier. The reason we struggled was our defense. It was never our offense. I mean, we scored against everybody. It was really, we couldn't stop people. And that's what these guys are really working on, and I think we're just a little bigger, a little quicker, and I think that'll translate on the defensive end.
Coach, I know you'd rather talk about your team, but since you are an iconic figure in the history of this game, Jay Wright calls it quits. Roy Williams out playing golf. You told me you've only played 9 holes this summer. Your buddy Mike Krzyzewski's walking the dog, doing his thing with the honey-do list. Legendary coaches, you're part of that fabric. Number one, were you surprised? I know you and Kay are really tight. Were you surprised with Jay Wright? You've got that Big East tie, you know these guys.
A little bit.
You talked about, you're excited about this team. Why the drive? I mean, in this day and age, guys are sitting there going, hey, listen, I've accomplished everything I need to accomplish, down the road we go.
Well, I haven't accomplished anything with this team, so I want to do what I can with this team. I'm not worried about what happened last year. I think it was time for those guys. Jay surprised me a little bit, but I think in the end of the day, I think some of the changes in college basketball probably affected him a little bit. And with Roy and Mike, I think they felt it was their time. And, obviously, I remember when I was 64, I think people were saying, well, he's going to be done now. I've had so many great moments since then. In the 10 years we've been around this league, we haven't done as well in the league as I'd like, but we've been to 2 Final Fours and 2 Sweet 16s. And not many teams have done that. Not many programs have done that. So it's been a great run. I like this team. I like coaching them. Everybody's timetable is different. Warren Buffett's still doing pretty well.
Yeah.
What he does. I try to tell people I'm not running, I'm not jumping, I don't have to do any of that. So I can pretty much stand there and tell people what I think they should be doing. And it's really been fun. This team is probably this summer and this fall have been probably some of the most fun I've had in coaching. And I'd hate to miss that.
Can you share with us any conversation you've had with Kay? Because I know you guys were tight from an Olympic perspective, from a college perspective. I mean, has he talked to you and said, hey, listen, you're doing this again? Really? You're going to go ahead and knock it out?
No, I said that to him when he decided to coach the Olympics the 3rd time. I said, really?
Doing this again?
We're going to do this again? But no, I just felt that about 2 or 3 years ago, he had no intentions of leaving the game. And then I think just at the last year, I think it was just a matter of, in his mind, that it was time. And I think that's what we all have to do, whatever we do. We have to decide, okay, it's time now. And I just haven't come to that place yet. I love what I'm doing. I love the kids we have. And, I brought in 7 new players. And in recruiting last year, I told every one of them I would coach them this year. So there's no way I was not going to come back and coach. And again, it's been a great group to work with. And, maybe the time will be right, but it isn't right now.
I like it.
Coach, I asked Jesse about this a little bit, but in terms of the priority on defense and kind of getting your crew a little more solid right now, How tough is that center position in that zone? We played a very different style, but he has to take up so much space. He's obviously an impact guy in that zone.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important, but in our defense, and people make too much of this, our kids learn our defense in 2 weeks. I mean, this isn't something that takes a year. It's a couple weeks. Now, obviously, some teams can play better zone than others. It's the same in man-to-man. You can work on your man-to-man a lot, but some teams are going to be better than others.
Right.
And it depends on their athletic abilities and what they can do, their instincts. And last year we were just not good in the zone, but we weren't good man-to-man either in practice. So this year we've been playing more man in practice. It's been better, and our zone has been better as a result. But it's 5 guys. Teams don't practice zone. They may play it in a game or they may practice it one day. Well, to be good at it, you have to practice it every day. And to be good at man-to-man, you have to practice it every day. And it's hard to be good at both. The only team I've ever seen do that was Georgetown when John was there. Now, that's when you had 4 or 5 hour practices too. But you can be good at a little bit better at both, but one will suffer. But I think we've spent so much time on our man, and the other problem is you have to spend more time on man than zone. Man-to-man defense is harder. You see 100 different sets in man-to-man. In zone, you see 3 or 4. So your preparations are harder man-to-man. But again, this team is better suited for defense, whether it's man or zone. But there's not one key position. The guards have to do their job, the forwards have to do their job, and the center has to do his job. So it's like any defense. If 4 guys are playing defense, you're losing. It doesn't matter what defense you're playing. So I think we'll be better defensively. But I think we still can be a good offensive team too, which is important.
It'll be interesting to see. When I played against Syracuse zone, it was C.J. Fair and Sutherland and Grant, these 3-4s that are so long, and you mentioned the 3 spot being a little smaller with Torrance. You've actually convinced me you're going to play man-to-man.
Well, we'll play man. If we're playing the smaller lineup, we'll probably be playing man-to-man. But we're big at the wings. Benny Williams is 6'9", Chris Bunch 6'7", 6'8", Justin Taylor 6'7". So we're as big at the wings as we were then, and we're a little bigger at center with Jesse and Peter Carey, we've got 3 7-footers. So if Jesse does get in foul trouble, we've got a defensive replacement. Last year we didn't have that. And I just think we're quicker at the guard spot probably and the forward spot, and we're long. So that has been the key for our defense over the years, that quickness and length, and I think we have that this year. But we will definitely play some man. But, I like to win. So if the man is working, we're going to use it. It's not a hard decision. If it's not working, then you try the zone. And, again, some teams don't match up well against zones. Other teams do. So we try to adjust our zone when that happens. And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But you have to adjust whatever defense you're playing, but to be able to go man is a change of pace that might help us. A team won't be able to come in and just say, well, we're going against the zone no doubt. So I think that'll help us a little bit, but it's really the quality of the defense you play, not the defense you play.
Right.
Coach, I want to take it a different direction before we let you go. You mentioned how much you like to win. Your football team is winning a lot of games right now. You just put out a video about the game they've got this weekend. What's it been like to feel the buzz around the Dome for football again, too?
It's great. I've been to every game in the Dome since 1962, just about every game.
Wow.
And I'm a big football fan. We have a good football team. We really do. The defense is a lot better than people thought. We got a great running back, and our quarterback has really been good. I think they still got a little ways to go. So I think they're going to surprise some more people. I think people discount how good Purdue is to beat Purdue.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
And I think we're really getting better as we go along. And I think it'll be interesting to see what happens the rest of the way. They've got a daunting schedule, but they've got a good football team. And, you know, nobody's talking about basketball right now, which is not bad.
A legendary basketball coach, but a football guy too. Coach, we appreciate the time. It's always good to chat with you.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing what you guys do this season, starting on November 7th. Got a game against Lehigh.